Hey, welcome back to Rust Order Garage. It is early and it is smoking hot out already, and I am still not 100% from whatever illness I had last week. But despite the fact I'm in bad shape, I have to try to get something done because nice weather time is limited and there's way too much to do. And I'm not just talking about this. There's a lot of other stuff going on. So anyway, try to get back on this chassis. All right, so as mentioned at the end of last video, I think it's time to get this chassis on its way to completion, and that means painted. But before painted, we have to do some work. First thing I want to do is box these front rails. So I went out to the store and bought some brand new steel. Yeah, right. Silverado frame section. It's going to the scrapyard anyway. Cut some steel out of it. Got some chunks that'll work for all four corners. There's some flat pieces laying in the back. And trusty old cardboard. Basically, just made a template. We're gonna box that rail. Now these rails, if you look at them from the front, they taper this way, and I was gonna make them straight and all that. That's not necessary. So I'm just gonna weld flat plate in there, box that up. The only thing about this is when you do it, try to get your steel to sit so that you have a ledge on both pieces, the frame and your patch, so you can get a good weld on that and burn it in. Because if you just lay it up against the frame and weld it on the top, by the time you grind it down, there's gonna be nothing left. So give yourself a good shelf to weld to. And the bottom won't be as big a deal, just has to lay there and burn it in. All right, there's the first piece. Not welded in yet, but you get the point. Pieces by 1/8 inch steel. Pretty good stuff. That'll sit in there like that. Burn it in. Getting there. All right, in progress. See, we're just jumping around with tack welds and then come back and fill it all in. But you know, you move around place to place, that way it doesn't try to move around on you and bend and warp and so on, because you can warp heavy steel no problem. So just jump around with the tacks. You can see how I have the ledge here, so you get a good burn, good penetration, and if you grind it back, you still got plenty of weld. All right, first piece burned in. Best looking welds? Nope. Penetration? Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. It's in there. I'll clean up the top a little bit. The bottom I don't care about. It'll all be painted, and actually really nobody will ever look at it. But it's done, it's strong, and now I'll use the same template that I used for that side and make a patch for the driver's side, and we'll do the same thing again. Whew. Work continues. It's a smoker. All right, so this side I just spray bomb some paint on it so nothing rusts. That's all looking good. I welded up some extra holes in the front of the frame there and the back here where that spring hanger was. I've got this one just cut out and set into place. That's gonna go there. Get that welded in. I welded up the holes that were there in the front of the frame there. And I'll do some more in the back, this area. We get that burned in. And we're moving forward. All right, another update. Not recording at all because it's just, look at my hand. It's just dirty, dirty work. So both sides are boxed in. That's all finished up. There was a section of frame here that was bent up, like curved up for the steering box location. Folded back over, trimmed that straight, filled the holes for the steering box, filled the holes for the rear spring mount. There was one rust spot there. I cut that out, welded a new piece in there. Whoo! And it's hot out, so it's some dirty, dirty work. The kind of stuff that nobody sees, but it takes a lot of time. All right, so with that done, I think the next thing I want to do is the front shock mounts, maybe? Do you want to do front shock mounts yet? I don't know. You'll figure out when I come back. Well, rather than do the Jag front shock mounts now, I think I'll do that as their own video. It might be easier to do. Just to keep that separate in case anybody wants the details. Although I've already done it in the 51 Hudson series. If you can't wait and are doing a Jag front, you want to see how I do front shock mounts, there's a whole tutorial in the Hudson playlist. I'm going to keep working my way back right now. I already removed the mount that was here for the pedals or for something. I mean, I don't know what it was for. Nothing was in it. Probably a pedal mount. Cross shaft. And this bracket, I think, is for a master cylinder. I don't need that anymore. So I'm going to blow those rivets out and get this off. Remove those two pieces I talked about before that may or may not be for the emergency brake. I don't know. But I'll get the rivets off of them. Knocked all that stuff out of here. Three more to go. Bracket is off. Rivets are knocked out. I'm going to replace this one rivet that went through the body mount here. I'm going to replace that with a shoulder bolt. And that will do that. All right, we're moving right along here. So, I think I'll move to the back of the frame now. We got to do the boxing at the very back of the rails and remove the rusted bump stops. Get those off of there. Repair any holes. Get the rear axle removed and weld up a whole bunch of holes back there. So yeah, there's still plenty to do. Plenty to do. Oh boy, okay, so as I am melting here in the heat. So I'm going to start on the rear frame rail. This is where my new spring mount bolts up. So I have circled holes here. The black ones with black circles, they're old holes that I'm going to get rid of. I got to weld those up. I also have a rust hole here I've got to fix. This is where the original spring hanger was, and water gets trapped behind these things. You know, they're just riveted to it, and it rotted this out, and it made a hole in the bottom too. So I'm going to cut this out and fix this first, weld up all the old holes, and keep my new ones. And then, because of these reinforcement ribs that are in the frame, this could not bolt flush to the frame. So I put thick spacers, washers, between the mount and the frame, and that took up the gap, no problem. These are actually GM washers. These are from Silverados, if you pull the steering column out of a Silverado, you will find 2 of these on the studs on the dash. Why, I don't know, but I save them because I'm a hoarder and it's free hardware. So these will get welded right to the frame. I'll just tack weld them there, and that way they're not moving around loose, because when you bolt something to the frame, you want to clamp load. You don't want shear load up and down. And if this is loose, you're basically putting the bolt in shear. So if it moves, you're putting tension on the bolt up and down, side to side, which shouldn't be there. You just want it clamped hard and clamp load only. So I'll weld these right to the frame. I was going to weld them right to the brackets. I could do that too, but I think I'll just put them right on the frame. All right, got all 4 of my spacers welded on. They're now permanently part of the frame. So now this can bolt right up. Solid, secure, no issues. Last thing to do here, fix this, cut that out, and make a patch. All right, there we go. Spacers on, rust hole repaired, all patched up, good to go. That is gonna be enough for today, I think. Yeah, I'm warm. It's a little warm out. We've been working. I'm sweating like a pig. I think that's enough for today. Time to go get cleaned up, play with the puppy, and pick up again tomorrow. All right, it is the next day, and I'm getting a little late start on the 56 pickup because this popped up this morning. Had to buy it. 1986 Corvette. Even got the billet wheels straight out of the, I guess you could say, the 90s. They were popular then. Old American racing rims. Good shape. I think I can sell those. Get rid of them. Anyway, I bought this as a suspension donor. It's actually a complete car, except for missing parts. No nose, no engine, no seats. I think that's about it. The headlights are inside the car. And it's, yeah. Somebody was going to make like a go-kart out of it, like Roadkill did. And they just didn't get to it. So, here it be. So I think this would be a perfect donor for a front and rear suspension setup. And yeah, all aluminum in there. I don't know if I can get in there to see anything, but everybody knows about Corvette suspensions. They work good. So, yet another piece of junk I got to get stripped out and gone in my spare time. All right, back into it. Lot of dirty work for just a simple street truck. So knocked the bump stop brackets off, and it really wasn't bad. Just a couple little spots to weld up on this side and one on the other. but wasn't going to use them, and I wanted to make sure if there was any rust I could fix it. So just a small spot there. I'm going to weld up the front spring hanger holes on this side, the old hanger holes, and put the spacers on, get those welded on. Weld up those, repair them, and then come back here and start on the boxing of the very rear of the frame. I'll do a little video of that, show you those patches, but I will not bore you and show you every little thing I'm doing. So let me get sweaty and get going on this thing. Continuing on. Whew, man, it's a hot one. So rear side is boxed over there. Rear side, passenger side, rear is boxed. I think the welding fumes are getting to me. So that is done. Now I'm half done over here, just showing where we're at on the driver's side, because this has a fuel tank. So I have a plate in here, and this notch is a little lower than the outside one, so the filler neck can come up from the bottom and shoot up through there. I'll finish welding this, and I'll also put a flat piece inside here and fill this hole and tie it all together. The reason I'm doing this is because usually where you have your leaf spring mount, there'll be a cross member going across the frame, which of course used to be this, and it was moved back out of the way. But since there's no side-to-side structure now for that rear leaf spring mount, turning everything into a box makes it that much stronger, and won't have to worry about it moving around or twisting it or anything like that. So it's worked for me in the past. I imagine it'll work this time too. So finish getting the welding up on this stuff. Woo, man, we just had like the most incredible storm just blow through here. Felt like in the middle of a tornado, and as quick as it came through, it's moving along. Holy smokes, it was like a wall of water. This was sticking outside. I didn't get it in fast enough. Holy smokes, was it raining. But anyway, whew, it's still going. I think that is it for the top side work of the frame. All the spacers are on, all the holes are filled. I left the holes for the bump stops because I'm going to see if I can get replacements. The originals were rotted out, but it still would be a good place to mount a bump stop. So if I can get replacements, I'll buy them. Probably can. You can get anything for these trucks. Back's all finished. Like I said, that side was already done. This side is now done. It's all filled in, and that is going to be super strong. No issues there. So I got to clean up, and I think that will be it for this video. All right, man. Whew. Storm is still going, and I am like, rain. Went outside to move some stuff before it got really crazy. I didn't have a chance, boy. It came down like a wall of water. Insane. Anyway, I gotta get dried up. So, see the frame here? I think that'll be it for this one. All that's left is a little bit of work on the underside of the frame I have to do, but on the next video, I'll do an individual video for the upper shock mounts for the Jaguar IFS. I've done it before in the Hudson playlist, but if you want to see it again, maybe be a little different this time, but not really. It'll be pretty much be the same. But we'll get those done, and then the bottom of the frame, a little bit of work, like I said, and then it's time to paint this thing, finally, and move forward to assembly. Yes, looking forward to that, because this has just been nothing but dirty, grinding, cutting, welding, and not the fun part of a build, but stuff that has to be done. So I'm glad it's moving forward. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Subscribers have been going up, which is fantastic. But you know what's even crazier? I looked at my analytics, and for every 1 subscriber, I have 8 people watching that are not subscribed. Come on, guys, help me out here. If you subscribe, the videos will get shared more often. It'll help the analytics, help the algorithm, and more people see it. And I get to get soaking wet for even more viewers. Fun stuff. I like it. So that's about it. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for following along. Keep this thing going, because I'm going to drive it. See you.